You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel alright, the kind you wanna stay up with all night. You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel whole. They won't leave your side when you lose control. The ones that don't let you lose your soul.
Welcome back to Off the Mountain Podcast. We have been on a hiatus,
Yes,
I
we
would
have.
say. We haven't been doing this for a while because we're busy and we've got a lot going on. But we have been talking to some of you guys on the street. Some of you have emailed us and asked us to bring this back. And so we're bringing it back for you, for the faithful, for those of you that have been listening and your friends and family. So please share if this episode means something to you, if it grabs your heart or grabs your mind. Share it with those that you know, because we like doing it, but we want to make sure that it's worth doing for you. And so anyway, we're back today, and we're gonna just jump right into everything that's been going on.
Well, let me say something real quick. We just got tired. I know I was getting very busy, and my wife is one of our biggest fans. She loves this podcast, and she threatened me, don't quit because she'll never come back. But I didn't know the influence we were having. And when I saw some of the things come out, like we made a good list in the state of Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
We were on a great list in the state of California. We had pretty good ratings. And so I go, wow, we were really reaching people. So anyway, whatever it was we're doing, we're going to try to recapture.
Yeah.
And Josh said it well because, we're going to talk about a lot of different things. That's what we want to base this thing on, a lot of things. We don't want to get too political because all the news stations are talking about that, but we're just going to just let it fly. And I think basically we come in here and sit down and start talking, and whatever comes out of it, that's the podcast.
We also got really smart, and this was your idea. We added an awesome person to the team, Nicole Dickey, and we needed a voice of reason on the table, I think.
Yes.
Just
I
that
agree.
female voice,
Yeah.
right?
We'll call it the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Yes, and so she balances. Nicole Dickey works also in our church, and she's married to a medical doctor. She has her master's degree, as well as Josh has his master's degree from USC, and me and Vince, I'm a college dropout, and I don't know about you.
I finished, but don't have my master's degree. So
It doesn't matter. What matters is you guys read a lot, but we also pray a lot. We talk to a lot of people. That's the thing that I think sets us apart, is the conversations that we have with people that are hurting. We have a lot of those conversations. Seems like that's the only time that we have conversations sometimes, is people call us, hey, I need something because I'm hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Not our friends, of course, they call for other reasons, but people will call and say, hey, I'm going through this thing, I need your help. And so we have a lifetime of, well, you do, Dev, for sure. You've been at this for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Vince and I have been at it for over 20 years. I'm not even going to mention how long, Nicole, you've been doing it, but it's been, we've done a lot.
Yeah.
And we've been with you guys in the times of hurting, and we've been with you guys in the times of praise and fun. And it's interesting to see, to me, how much God can actually take your life and change it, and that's what I love about these conversations, is really ultimately we're talking about that at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's where we lead into, I think, almost every podcast. It's hard to keep God out of the subject because that's what we do, and that's who we are. But I want to start off maybe asking you guys, what did you do while we've been gone? Anything special happen? I mean, was there any high points or any defining moments in the last few months? Or
Well, we celebrated 50 years, Pastor. You've been the pastor of VBF for 50 years this year, and so that was a big high point. Obviously, we've been gone. I don't even know if we would have been able to podcast going into that 50th year. We've done so much in 2025, and so, yeah, big high point we're coming up.
and we had the big men's retreat up at Big Bear Lake previous to that. And we've had a lot of stuff. We're just a busy church, period.
I want to mention, too, I was thinking about the men's retreat that we do every year, Big Bear. And that's how this podcast was originally birthed. It's called Off the Mountain because we had good conversations. We had a lot of good talks and a lot of life change that happened up in Big Bear a few years ago. And we thought, how do we continue this conversation coming down? So really, it's spun off of our men's ministry, and then Nicole is in charge of the women's ministry. And so this is really just a conversation to kind of add to the conversations that you guys are already having about what God's doing in your life.
Yeah, we've had so much fruit. I mean, we have hundreds of men that come, and Nicole also has huge women's retreats and one coming up soon, and our marriage retreats. And any of you out there, if you want to attend any of our retreats, you can find the information on our webpage, I think.
Yeah, we have our women's coming up in just 2 months, November 7th through 9th. It's going to be amazing.
And it's going to be where?
And it's going to be in Valencia, and we have Debbie Vietti speaking. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. All right. You're in for a surprise. You've had her before.
Yep.
She'll tell you like it is. And Vicki Lohman is super good, and you're speaking.
Yep.
So,
well, you mentioned the website. I just want to tell people where to go if they want to.
Sure.
You want to connect with one of those retreats. It's vbf.org. You can look at our ministries, sub ministries, and find it there. You might have to search a little bit, but everything should just spin right off of that. And yeah, you guys are all invited.
Well, you know what? I would assume that there has been no real big changes in your life while we've been gone. Just pretty much life in general, huh? I mean, there's always some big occasions, but nothing special like, you didn't.
I had a kid graduate high school. That's a big, I don't know. That felt like a feat for me. I don't know.
Big?
Yeah.
It's weird. Last night we had our young adults group. And so, yeah, it was just crazy watching him be a part of that young adults ministry and totally, it was like seeing him as an adult now is totally different. I introduced him yesterday and so it's wild.
That was a defining moment for sure.
Yeah.
And so,
I graduated college, so I graduated with my degree finally.
USC, master's degree.
Never too late. It's never too late. And so it was cool to be able to jump back into that academic world, which I hadn't been in a long time. And I kind of miss it, actually. My wife, I passed the baton to my wife. Now she's in school again.
That's
so
awesome.
we're just the kids are wondering if school is just for your whole life. Because, I'm in my mid-40s and
You're back.
They're like, do you ever stop going to school?
I don't think you ever stop learning. That's for sure.
You never stop learning.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Well, I took college classes for the first 20 years of our marriage. I took night classes. I just kept going. I just never, like you, I've never put them together for a degree.
Yeah.
I probably have enough credits to get a degree, but I dropped out before.
There are no excuses today for somebody who wants to learn, right?
Absolutely.
We have infinite resources. You can learn about any subject, but yet our society isn't healthier. It's
right.
You'd think that because the resources are there, that means everyone would take them, would use them. But that's not how it works.
Yeah.
We've taken all this information that we have and we've started to use it as a weapon against each other, and that's I don't know if I'm trying to segue into something that you want to talk about, but I really think that we need to be careful about the information that we consume and learn instead of this is my spiel about social media right now. Okay, social media can be good. There's a good side to it. Many of us watch that Facebook movie, right? Where Zuckerberg, he basically creates it so people can connect into college, and that makes sense, like that's great if you use it for connection, for family members, for people around you. But we've weaponized it and we use the information to hurt each other and to, kind of basically wave our flag and say, I'm on this side, you're on that side, you're bad, I'm good. And it's just not healthy. And I think that a lot of people are having that conversation right now. And so as Christians, how do we navigate this? What do we do? I've thought about quitting. I'm praying about quitting because I don't know. There's a benefit to it for me, but there's also a detriment.
Quitting
to
what?
It. Social media.
Oh, okay.
I've thought about just quitting it all because, the church has outlets and then we have the podcast here. So I have outlets. I have plenty of ways of getting word out that I need to get out. But I've thought about quitting, but I don't know. I do like the interactions. I love it when people send me a message, even if it's an argument, and they'll send me a respectful message. Those are great, because then we can talk things through. So I love that aspect of it. But I'm in a place right now where I'm like, man, Vince and I, when we started back in the day, and you guys can interrupt me anytime, but I'm gonna keep going here. We started doing marketing probably 15 years ago.
Mhm.
We started looking at doing some marketing stuff, and we jumped right into like Facebook classes, like these seminars, these things. I remember we were in Santa Barbara sitting down with the
Yeah.
Facebook staff, and they started telling us, what this was about, and immediately my feelers went up. I'm like, whoa, okay, so we're gonna gather data on every single person
Right.
and use that data to sell them more stuff they don't need. Like that's what this is about.
Yeah.
And so even back then, I was like, I understand this, but I don't know if I like it,
Right.
But I understand also at the same time, this can be a good way to communicate to a lot of people. So I was just careful from the get go. If you notice, I don't post a lot on social. It's because it's permanent.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think that's the biggest jump that I see now is, just talking about just how much stuff is happening in the world. Like if you were to go back to the 1960s and a news story would break, the whole nation wouldn't get that news story all at once, right? It would take days maybe for some rural areas to even know that an event happened in the United States.
Right.
And so now, like in an instantaneous moment, without us sitting, praying, feeling, navigating conversation with people in our local communities, we can post something online without any thought. And I
Right.
think that's the danger, is like how fast we can say something and we may not even mean it, or how fast news spreads and it doesn't.
I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't encompass all social media, because technically, I guess this would be social media, right? And I think that this is a better form of being able to have conversations and responding thoughtfully on Facebook or Instagram is great. Putting a post about your family, I think that's wonderful. Putting a post about something you accomplished, those are great things. Something that's going to encourage people. There's a way to do it that's right.
But Josh, listen to me too. We're falling right in, I think, sometimes to syndicated news into their trap.
Mm-hmm.
That's
what I was.
They're sitting around.
Yeah.
They're sitting around weekly, looking at things that are happening in the news, and their job is to exaggerate it,
Right.
and make it entertaining and get you all worked up. That's what they want.
Their
That's the way
job
they
is to
get
stir
their
the pot.
audience.
They stir the pot,
And we're falling into that trap.
and that feeds the machine.
Well, how often do you read a headline and the headline has nothing to do with the story?
Oh, well, I remember Vince. I remember in one of the marketing sessions that we went to, I remember sitting in a class that was all about
Writing headline.
writing the headline,
Yeah.
a copywriting class.
Yeah.
And in that class, this guy is like, "Yep, on Sunday nights I just sit and I write down my ideas and I tweak them and I'll work on the head." He said he'll work on the headline
Right.
as long or longer than he works on the article, is what he said.
Oh, that's bizarre.
And he was teaching this class of professionals to do the same. He's like,
Yeah.
"This is the most important thing, because once you have them, then you've accomplished your goal."
Right.
Like the goal wasn't to give information to
Right.
help people understand how to navigate their lives. The goal was to get the click.
Click, make money.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
clickbait.
Yeah.
And we
They're
don't
getting
know
people
this,
worked up,
but-
and we're all getting mad at one another out here and causing all this drama, and that's exactly what they want. They want to create this.
Yeah, it's a world that's ran by greed. It's ran by everyone. A lot of people looking out for themselves.
And you choose whichever network you want. You want the left, you want the right, I don't think there is a middle.
Yet there's
And,
there's a sea of information out there that you could use to better your life, to help people better their lives. And so there is a way that we can do this right and do it well.
Do you think social media should be regulated? Like, do you think there should
See,
be
this
rules?
is- okay,
I know.
Let me
okay.
say this. Let
Yeah.
me say this. No,
Okay.
I don't think anything should be regulated. but
SB 771.
But here's the deal. I think that I would hope and I pray that the citizens listening to this would get their head out of politics solving their problems and realize that it's us that needs to solve our problems.
Mhm.
It's internal. We need to choose to be better.
Well,
as people.
SB 711 in California. Again, we weren't going to talk about this, but I'll just say something about it. The way it was presented to me, it got really kind of scary. But when I first read the guy that was introducing this SB 771, at least his opinion of it, it's a bill that, the way I understand, as of a week or two ago anyway, that it's just left for Newsom to sign. Maybe he signed it and I've already missed it. I know it's going to be something pretty crazy. But what they're going to do, if I understand it correctly, at least from this guy's perspective, it sounded like that I would be fined.
No.
I know this isn't the truth. I say, but the way it came out at first.
Right.
They made it sound, they built it up
That's
to
what it
where
seemed like.
if I say something that this little committee of far left people think is hate speech, I could be fined up to what, $100,000. That's what it sounded like.
So and how did you feel when you read that?
Oh, I was
the
upset.
headline? Okay, so you read the headline, you're upset.
Then I went back and looked up the bill itself.
Right. But before that, so let's rewind a little bit. I go to the restroom. So I spend my time in the restroom.
We didn't need to know that.
Thank you. No. This is important. This is important because this is what's happening.
Things happen
Because the world topples from people going to the restroom right now. Here's the thing. I'm in the restroom. I send you this. I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't even look at it in myself.
You send it to me.
I send it straight to you, and I say, if this is true, this is terrible. This is what I said, right? And so I did the thing that I shouldn't do.
And then
you did.
you got him fired up because I was in that St. Pete text, and he was like, "What about this? What about that? What about
Yes, and so I fell into the trap, and I know better, but I was tired, and I'm like, oh, this will be. In a way, I thought this will be fun. Like let's get fired up about this.
Well, I went to the bill itself, and basically there is a lot of truth to it. That the way I read the bill itself is that if we're on some network, whether it be Facebook or whatever, and we say something that this little committee on the left up there deems as hate, hate propaganda, it's hate speech, then they're going to fine the network we're on. They're going to fine them big money.
Yeah,
Well,
so in
but the
California,
problem
it's
is
through
they're the ones deciding what is hate, hate messages, what is, for example, I'm a pastor, so if I'm reading something in the Bible about Israel being God's people, somebody say that's hate talk. Because it's against the Palestinians.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing could go really off in a bad way.
But it could happen on either side, right or left, on partisan. Like people can abuse these systems, and that's the hard part. Is what is truly harmful. Now, let me go back. You asked me a question a few minutes ago.
I did.
Do I think that social media should be regulated?
Right.
And I said no. But let me put a caveat on that. I do think we should regulate it for minors.
Yeah.
Amen.
I'm glad
I
you
agree
said
with
that.
that.
100%.
And I think it's ridiculous that we have phones allowed in schools. I'm against that.
I think the biggest thing, so a lot of things happened in the last couple weeks. And there's some videos that went viral that my kids, I know their friends saw videos that they shouldn't have seen, content that they should have seen. And I know Facebook, Twitter, all these things have regulations like you have to be 16 to have an account, or you have to be. Nobody checks it. There's no real way to validate
any age.
You put any age.
My friend's 11-year-old son saw the video of Charlie Kirk being shot.
Dude, that's no adult should have.
Right. It was being
have
passed around at school.
Right.
And then, so the way he dealt with it, he's an artist, and he drew a picture of Charlie in heaven. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, that affected him.
Right.
To be able to have to process it,
Right.
But what scars are our kids going to have long term because they watched all this stuff that they're not supposed to do?
But I do think the adults as well, and I hate saying that because I think we should have the freedom of speech and say what we need to say. But at the end of the day, like when you talk about harm,
right?
I do think stuff like that can mess people up. One of our really good friends, Wesley, who's he's lost his legs over in Iraq,
right?
And so one of the things that he said first was that he watched the video and it gave him PTSD. He didn't know what he was going to watch, and it made him
feel that way.
And then it put a fight in him. He said,
yeah.
And so I do think should we just be able to post and say whatever we?
There has to be some kind of regulation, especially for minors.
Free speech, it excludes things that will cause harm or incitement.
Right.
The problem is where is that line?
Where's the line?
Who's deciding what's harmful? Right. How are they deciding it? And so that should be like a public discussion with a committee that makes, you know what I mean? Like that shouldn't be.
You would think we would have enough common sense in our nation to say,
you would think that doesn't seem to be the case.
So we didn't mean to go there. We were going to be careful, but
on that,
you
asked me the question.
I when I see an interesting news story, I copy it, save it because I want to take my time on my downtime to read it a little better. But some time ago, Jimmy Kimmel, he was taken off the air for a short time. And I kept an article that said Jimmy Kimmel chokes up after returning from suspension. It was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. And I went back and looked at that, and of course, they took him off the air for a short time because of what he said. And the part that I liked in that article is that he was thanking the people who stood up for him. And he said something that you don't hear very much on the left or the right. He said, maybe most of all, I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway. People I never would have imagined, like Ben Shapiro, Clay Travis, Candace Owen, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, even Ted Cruz. They said very beautiful things.
For him, yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And I look at that and I go, you know what? I didn't like what he said. I heard what he said, and I didn't appreciate it. But you know what? I do want him to maintain his freedom of speech because I want it for me.
Right.
Let me go back to my point again because I want to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. Okay, like
We're already in the rabbit hole. We're already
No, I
down
know.
there.
I agree with you, Dad, that we as people need to make the decisions. We as adults, we need to be more responsible. See, here's the cultural problem. Everyone's blaming everyone else, and no one's looking in the mirror.
Right.
Nobody is saying I messed up, right? Like I messed up by sending you that headline. No, I'm serious.
You got
I
to be
did.
worked up for
No,
sure.
I did. I messed up by sending that headline, thinking this will be interesting to see how he reacts because it was entertaining to me.
Yeah.
And that's not okay. I need to stop doing that, you know?
It's designed to be that way.
Right. And that's on the lower end, but then the higher end, the people that have strong opinions of their politics, right? Or religion, share the good in it. Share what is good about what you believe, you know? Share the good. You won't get as many views and you won't get as many people, but then again, I mean, most people aren't getting a lot of views anyway. It's just we're out there just mad. And we're
Don't you think that guy who wrote that article, he knew what he was doing? He made it sound like I was personally going to be fined, and it wasn't even the case.
It is profitable to stir people up. It's profitable to make people angry right now.
Let's change the direction. I love some of these stories because, for example, BuzzFeed, I don't care for it very much, but they had an article some time back, and I shared with Nikki, TikTok products you haven't heard of yet.
Oh, you shared with me that article, and now I have like 20 things in my Amazon cart. My husband said, I love that. Thanks, Pastor.
I want you to look. I've got more hair than I've ever had because I bought a head massager off that site, and I've been massaging my head for 6 months for 15 minutes a day, and my hair's getting thicker than it's ever been before. That ought to be good news for somebody out there. That's the stuff you got to be reading on the internet.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, there was
positivity in the world.
You could make your own Uncrustable, you know, and I was like, that's what I'm missing in life. Those are
By the way, we're going to have affiliate links to the head massager in the comment. You can just use my link and you could buy it.
Now I'm after the magnetic keychain flashlight. Did you order that one?
You know what? That's perfect for camp when the kids
I know.
go. It attaches to the bunk. Yep, it's
I'm
my
always
Amazon
wanting a
cart.
flashlight.
That's
And it says it even flashes SOSs. Now, let me ask you, would you know an SOS if you saw it be a flash?
No, I'd be like, there's a flashing light.
the question is, if you're in the woods and you saw a flashing light, would you go
The
towards it?
UFO.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I got us out of that rabbit hole quick, didn't I?
Wow.
That's pretty good. That was a good tactic.
Yeah.
Josh is still in the rabbit hole.
I think
He's still thinking. His wheels are still spinning.
I think I live in a rabbit hole. Vince and I were just last night. We were looking at hunting spots, and Vince sends me a thing. He's like, "Hey, check out this company." I'm not gonna say who it is, but check out this company. Look at all this land they own. So I in 5 minutes, I had the picture of the CEO pulled up and like what he was about and all this stuff. I'm all, what is this? Like, what's going on? Because we just like I get
addicted.
caught up in this. Everyone's out to get me. Everyone's against me. What are they doing? I think we've just watched too many movies, maybe.
Too many documentaries.
We've been talk about conditioning, right? We've been fully conditioned to believe that there's a secret army out there that hates us. And that secret army really doesn't exist. What does exist are the spiritual forces of the world.
Absolutely.
Because people, so I was listening to Joe Rogan the other day, and he was talking about like this whole idea of, who are the masterminds behind all this? Mm-hmm. There's no mastermind, dude. There are people that are doing some things in the world that are organized, but for the most part, they're not organized.
Yeah.
Even the cartels, they're not organized. They're out there just mad, shooting at people and doing their thing. Like, we have a minor version of that mentality of like, we're not organized. We're just all mad.
Oh.
We're all just posting.
I have to add something here.
Not to bring us back into that.
Your mother and I had come up with this crazy idea to do a road trip to Texas. I had a speaking engagement, and I said, man, let's just do a road trip. I did one once before, and it was so just kind of relaxing, fun. You get to stop all along the way and buy illegal fireworks and do all this stuff, you know.
But you bought them legally.
Yeah.
Because you were
No,
there.
Yeah.
no, it's so funny. I got to tell you something. This is so funny. I have to stop at every, alien site along the way. They have aliens here, and I have to stop. And so I'm in New Mexico, and I walk up with a little bag of firecrackers, and my wife says, "You know what? You can't buy those." I said, "Why?" "Duh, you can't. It's illegal. They'll throw you in jail, Ron. I'm telling you, they will arrest you." I said, "They're not going to arrest me
Straight to jail.
for one pack of firecrackers." I said, "They might confiscate them and give me a lecture." She thought for sure they'd arrest me, but going back to what I was going to
Might
say.
fine you, and at that point, you just have to
Yeah.
make a financial decision,
Yeah.
I guess.
So what we're doing is we are traveling and relaxing and looking at the scenery. And what we've started doing is we started listening to like 7 Dateline episodes every day,
Oh, man.
back to back.
Mhm.
Now you don't want to stop because
When we
coming after you.
Now
when
everyone's
we
a
got in
murderer,
Texas
right?
and started back. She said, "Ron, look at that guy over there by the food counter over there."
Yeah.
Yep.
She said, "Everybody's bad. They're all after us.
Right.
This person, I think he might just kill somebody." Her whole mind
So you know what you're
is
explaining?
running into different.
I talked about this on Sunday. You're talking about confirmation bias. So the idea is that, okay, let's say that I know you like to research cars. You like cars, so you'll research a car that you're going
Right.
to buy, and you'll spend a lot of time. Me too.
hours.
Like a lot of time. So when you start researching a car,
Yep.
that car shows up everywhere.
Yeah.
You start
does.
seeing it everywhere.
Yes.
Because you're looking for the thing that you're thinking about.
Yep.
And so if in our world, we do the same thing. If we're looking like, oh, they're out to get me, well, you're going to find people that seem like they're out to get you. And so what's hard for me as a leader right now is I feel like anything I say is people are going to automatically be triggered on that and put me in a camp. Oh, there's people that think I'm not far left, but there's people that think I'm like liberal on the left. There's people that think I'm like full on far right. I lean right, absolutely. But like at the end of the day, I feel like I can't say, there's a lot of things that I can't say because people will they'll automatically put you in a camp and then they'll turn you off.
Mhm.
Right. And we can't live like that anymore. I have thoughts that don't line up with the conservative movements. And I have disagreements with the administration. I have disagreements with a lot of things. But if I say that, all of a sudden I'm put in this other camp and I'm an enemy.
Even as a
Right,
church, though, we always like to brag that we're kind of middle of the road on a lot of issues.
A lot of issues.
A lot of
yeah.
them. And there are some things that people would say he's liberal. Other things he's ultra conservative.
Right.
It just depends on the issue.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing about partisan stuff too. Is like, again, if you're into politics and you're doing your thing and it's working, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, but if we mix politics and church, that's such a dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a whole spiel on that. I don't know if I want to get into all of that right now. But what if your party changes? What if your party changes?
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do then? Like, are you going to stay loyal? Like, I'm a Dodger fan. They may or may not win the World Series this year, but I'm going to stay a Dodger fan whether they do or they don't, right?
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes our mentality is like, well, I'm going to stay with my party no matter what. And then they start going in the wrong direction. Then what are you going to do? Instead, I think there's a better way. You continually pray and you continually seek God and you ask him who the best candidate is or who the person that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. If you go through the book of Kings, for example, Chronicles or Kings, it'll talk about leaders. And it'll say this leader did right before God, and then usually what would follow is things would go well with the people, right? Then you'd have a leader that doesn't do right before God, and it wouldn't do well before. And so but here's the thing: the times where they didn't do well because their leader caused them to change as people.
Yeah.
And they started doing things right.
Yeah.
And so sometimes even having the wrong people in leadership is better for the kingdom of heaven. I'm not saying that we want that, But I'm saying if that happens, if a candidate wins and you don't want them to win, maybe God's going to use that to bring people closer to Him, because that's the whole.
Well, for example,
his
like me,
purpose.
I've said this more times than one. I'm a Republican at the moment. At the moment. If the parties change and went a different direction, I also saved this. I save anything I see on the internet that is kind of cool, but it's written on a wall and it says, better to admit you walked through the wrong door than spend your life in the wrong room.
Oh, that's good.
And so right now I'm a Republican. I'm not ashamed of that because they have a better platform that agrees with most of the things that I believe in. But who knows in 5 years that they might swap and Republicans might go off this direction, Democrat, then I'll become a
They might change, and you taught me this a long time ago, that our opinions can change because we learn and grow.
Right.
Yes.
So as I learn more, like the Bible never changes, but my opinions change as I learn more about the Bible.
Yeah.
My thoughts change as I learn more about the Bible. Take Charlie Kirk, for example. When he first started, he was so rigid, and I started seeing him change near the end there, and he was still so young. Like, imagine him at 50, 60 years old.
Soft.
He probably would have been such
Different
a
guy.
softie.
Yeah.
Like, he probably would have been so much softer, but still had a strong conviction and strong stance, because God changes
He
you.
changes, Josh,
Yeah.
and especially as Christians. If you're older out there, you'll probably understand this better than the younger people. But there's this natural thing that tries to happen to older people, and you become grouchy and grumpy, and it's something that tends to just jump out and grab you and say, this is the way you're going to become. And you have to fight against that. And as a Christian, I think it's more organic, your fight against it. For example, this is kind of sticky, but we had an employee a while back do something not good. And I won't tell you what church. We got several churches. And somehow I was drug into the whole problem. And because these elders and leaders respect me so much, I said, don't fire the person. Don't fire him. And they said, why? I said, because I personally want to work with them. I think we got something really good here that's redeemable. And so one of our leaders jumped in and said, got this person along in a private room, got him into a private room, was talking to him, and said, I want you to understand what's going on right now. Pastor Ron, 15 years ago, would have fired you on the spot. And now he wants to give you grace. He wants to work with you. I'm saying all that to say, we do change.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We do.
And even knowledge is progressive, but even more than that, in an organic way, our character changes. We become softer.
You mean progressive in the actual dictionary term, not the the political term.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. This is what happens. He used the word progressive. Oh, he's a liberal.
Yeah.
He's a liberal. I heard him say it.
I heard him say.
Let's take the clip right now and let's
Right.
It's crazy, man.
They don't cancel you today. They shoot you sometimes.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Well,
it's
let's.
horrible to even think about.
It is terrible.
So, but
it is.
I don't know where we want to go right now, but, the internet, again, I've been jotting down things that's been getting my attention on the internet. And I read an article, and we're going to end up really talking about something spiritual for you, spiritual people. But this article meant more to me than it will you, I'm sure. But wisdom for those who wake up at 3 a.m.
Oh, I love that article because I wake up at 3 a.m.
Ah,
all the time.
Nikki, and you're young, but don't you hear this a lot? A lot of people all of a sudden are struggling with sleep.
Yeah, I have heard that a lot.
Isn't like waking up at 3 o'clock, and maybe this is some old voodoo that I've heard in my life, but isn't like if you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's like not good.
witchy
It's
hour.
like, it's like a witching hour. Isn't that like a thing?
Oh,
It's supposed to be a witching hour.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
They think the spirits are more active,
Yeah.
and there's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I'm glad I'm not waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I'd be like, oh, what's going on?
I also heard that it's just a sleep pattern thing, and that
Great,
tends to be the time
yeah.
you actually
This is-
wake up. So I think we're probably okay.
I think
but-
it's the stress of having children. Personally, I think that's what it comes.
Well,
down to.
yours
Wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning?
yours pop in bed at 3 in the
No,
morning. You're
but I have a really hard time falling asleep.
You
falling
go
asleep.
at 3 o'clock
I
in the
could,
morning.
I could
got it.
stay up till 3, but no, I have a really, really hard time winding down at the end of like the way I work is I wake up just tired because of the night before because I didn't fall asleep in time. And then I will like drink caffeine all day long, and then I'll get more ramped up and more ramped up. Not a lot, but like, throughout the day. And then by the evening time, I'm just like, I do stop. Like, and I know that's the thing that that's the advice you would give. Like, stop drinking your caffeine. I do.
Yeah.
And I've tried to find that line, but by the evening, I feel like it's getting my kids into bed is like the most stressful part of my day.
That's wild.
It's an intense workout, isn't it?
I guess I don't have a little. My kids just kind of go to bed, and I'm thankful for that.
That's
Have
awesome.
you ever, like at night, you're so tired and you're trying to wind down, and you're like looking at an article on your phone, but you're holding it like above your head because you're like laid back in the pillow and you fall asleep and the phone's
Never happened to me. No.
Okay,
So
I'm just wondering if this is like
in the
like,
BuzzFeed article Pastor sent, there's actual pillow that you can like go look at that article.
Yeah.
You can buy one and put one in your cart. It helps you sit up in
not-
bed to watch
No, I
social
don't
media.
want to do that, but I've literally like been so tired where I'm like trying to read an article or something, and or Josh said like looking at maps online,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden the phone just
So I don't scroll a lot at night because I have a police officer in my house watching me, and my wife.
Okay.
And so what happens? Well, I've complained about it so many times, and I'm like, man, we're just on social media all the time. And so when I do it now,
Oh, she gets you.
yeah, she's like, what are you
Let's do
doing? And she's my accountability, right? And she's right. So last night when we were looking at the maps for hunting, she's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, we're looking at maps for, hunting. And she looked at me like kind of nodded, and she's like studying. She's busy. She's
Yeah.
studious. She's doing her thing. But no, if you have a problem and you have a spouse, tell them the problem and they will keep you accountable.
Could you
know?
imagine going back to like the 1800s and pulling up your phone and showing like an explorer, like, look at all the maps I have right here?
They would probably worship it. They would probably put it as an idol.
Could you imagine? Oh man,
No,
it's so
I
crazy to be
can't.
able to see the whole.
I'd written down
thing.
3 things you were
It's
supposed
not
to
healthy.
do when you wake up at 3 in the morning,
Oh yeah.
and now I can't find them. So
Okay.
I'll just keep waking up at 3 in the morning. I guess.
I know. So I know
I
a couple of them.
depended on that.
I know a couple.
going
I know a few of them. They say when you do wake up and you can't
Get
sleep,
up.
First of all, don't go to your phone because it emits blue light and it also emits this dopamine response. Instead, get up and don't fight it, because if you fight it, that's misery. Get up and read is what they say to do. Read a book and preferably a boring one.
It's
Have
so wild.
get a boring book and read.
There's no way.
They said something about, too, don't just lay there, toss and turn, because then your mind associates something with sleep. And they went
Yeah.
pretty deep in it. And
Yeah.
it's probably so deep I wouldn't understood it anyway. But
They do sum it up though. Oh. And if you get up and push it hard all day long, you'll probably sleep pretty good the next night.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I would hope so.
Yeah.
That would be wild.
and don't drink a lot of water before you go to bed.
Yeah.
I went into a Starbucks about a year ago. And so I asked the girl, I said, do you have any decaffeinated coffee? And I was looking at my phone at the clock, and she goes, yeah, we do. Why were you looking at your clock? I said, because if I take caffeine after 2 or 3, I won't sleep. What? She said, caffeine won't let you sleep?
No way.
Caffeine will
She was
keep you
surprised
awake?
by that.
She had no idea.
I haven't been able to sleep, and I've been trying to figure it out. And I take caffeine all the way up to 10 o'clock. I said, there's your problem, sweetheart. That's your
Oh,
problem.
man.
Could you
It-
imagine working?
Although
Starbucks?
some of you guys can take caffeine late and sleep like a baby, if I take it after 2 in the afternoon,
See,
I'm not going to
You
sleep.
tell me that story, and it's probably true, and this girl probably really was in that place. But I'm like, what a troll! I can't believe she said that. I would have been mad for the rest
So
of the day.
annoying.
I had somebody with me. They heard it.
I
can't-
believe that
I
she
can't
believed
believe
it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely caffeine has.
She was very young.
Yeah.
It's 18. I guess she just didn't put the 2 together. Bless her heart.
think that we live in a day and age where it's easy to just not teach your kids anything.
Have them go search it
It's
out.
easy for us to be on our phones all day long and like teaching them that, if you want to know anything, you get on there.
I was coming. Where was I going today? I was going to the gym this morning, and I counted 12 probably junior hires walking along the road, and 10 of them were walking on their phone. They were on their phone.
No way.
10 of the 12.
Yeah.
They were all,
There's
you
peer
know,
pressure involved with that because my kid I have a 7th grader.
Right.
Nicole, you have a littles too, and my kid's he's like, Dad, would you just buy me a phone? I'm like, no, you don't need it. You're not in high school. You're not playing sports. I don't need to get a hold
Well,
of you.
I don't want to demonize phones because we can use them for good as well.
Yeah.
And they're not the entire problem. I mean, how many homeless people do you see out there scrolling, right? They're not scrolling, right? So they're
scrolling.
Well,
it ain't their phone.
They're going through some stuff, but here's the thing: like, there's a real evil in the world,
Yeah.
right? That's going to use anything and everything that we have in front of us, right? And if it's drugs, it's drugs. If it's alcohol, it's alcohol. If it's relationship issues, it's that. If it's anger, if it's food, it could be a lot of different things. But for most of us right now, I think the phones are.
Can being addicted to your phone be a sin?
Well, it is an addiction.
Is it a
Becomes
sin
an
though?
idol.
Yeah, I think Paul says that he's mastered by none, and I think that right there is probably, if you want to know what sin is, technically it means missing the mark.
Missing the mark.
Right? But it's anything that distracts you from your purpose, from who God is calling you to be and what God is creating in you. And that is a huge distraction, and it's something that you're not even. There's so many times where I picked up my phone and started scrolling, and I didn't even think it through. It was just a habit,
Yeah.
And so when your habits become in charge of your behavior, that's not good.
It's confessional time. Are you addicted to your phone?
It's an addiction I'm fighting, but yeah,
You are. How about you,
absolutely.
Oh, I can't leave home without it. So of course.
Nikki?
Yeah. I would say I'm working on it, but
Oh,
I know
boy.
I am.
4 sinners up here at the table, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we are addicted. I just I'm fidgety and where's my phone? Where's my phone?
Yeah.
I went in the other day, a while back. I went into the mall. I had to have something done to my phone. I didn't know what to do. I had to wait 30 minutes, and I'm like, I don't like shopping.
Mm-hmm.
I kept reaching for my phone 5 times.
I've been in public places before too, and I sit there and think, okay, I'm not going to pull. I'm like defiant. I'm not going to pull my phone out. And people look at you so strangely, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you just looking around? Like,
What's wrong with you?
You must be shady. You must be up to no good, right?
Interesting.
That person who sits on a plane and just sits there. And
Yeah.
You're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're totally normal though.
And I left mine in a dressing room in Las Vegas. And man, I thought I was going to have a heart attack getting back down there. Going,
oh man,
it's gone. Isn't that terrible? We live in a society where we go, it's gone. It's gone.
I missed it. I'm excited because
And it wasn't.
We're going to be hunting soon, and I'm excited to lose reception. Of course, I have the emergency ways for my wife to get a hold of me, and that's good. But beyond that, it's going to be so nice to not have to worry about anybody texting me all day long or anybody.
Yeah.
Needing something,
It is crazy though, and I would be all in if everybody. And that's the thing, we justify it because if everybody was willing to give up their phone and we didn't all have to get a hold of each other all at once or have information, like if we all did it together, we could do it. But because we feel like we'd be left behind if we didn't have a phone,
right?
We can't do
it.
So
your phone argument is my gun argument. Like, if you can get rid of all the guns in the world,
you
except
would
for
yours up too.
I would, yeah. Except for I like to hunt, but
yes, for sporting,
yeah,
I get it.
But if you can guarantee me that all the guns are off the street,
right,
then I don't need one to protect my family.
Right.
For those people out there that are against hunting, you guys talked me into getting my stuff this year too.
We're excited, by the way,
and I'll be going with you some.
Yes.
But I honestly can say that the deer are pretty safe when I go into the woods.
Yeah, me too.
I got several when I was younger. That's when I shot a lot. But I get more good out of just being up there, high in the mountains, sitting on a rock, with the wind blowing through my hair, eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yep.
It's just
now you're dreaming. That's California dreaming right there. I'm with you. Get that peanut butter and jelly out.
Although I do want to get one this year because there's a meat shortage right now, and that's just not.
There's a meat shortage right now.
There's a meat shortage. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but beef has been more expensive.
I don't eat beef, so I wouldn't know.
And so that's I gotta have some red.
Well,
meat.
good. Everybody's gonna get healthy.
Maybe yeah.
Healthier.
Maybe I don't know.
I
think some red
well,
meat's okay.
You know what I want to do real quick? I'm going to kind of change directions here, but. I read this in the Vegas campus. I might have read it in Texas even. But again, I do get up in the morning after I've done my devotions and prayer and done all that. If I'm waiting for my breakfast to heat up or whatever, I do thumb through news feed and all the news stuff. And when I see something interesting, I copy it and put it away somewhere. But these are things that just appeared in the headlines of the news, like the last year. Don't take that. I mean, literally, I think probably all of these are safe within the last year. And what I want to show you is that, Christianity is kind of like we're sitting on top of this mountain called knowledge. And the world is sweating and perspiring and working hard to get to the peak of that mountain of knowledge. And they're straining and they're grunting and groaning. And finally they get up to the top of the mountain of knowledge. And we've been sitting there the whole time with the Christian flag planted going, we've been here a little while. Listen to these real quickly. If you want to interrupt me or hear all of them and then say something. There's new scientific evidence that all humans alive today share a common ancestor. That just came out, hit the headlines. And it's called Mitochondrial Eve. And you read that, and I read that article, and I go, hey, we knew that. Welcome to the club. Another one is about a book that I've talked about in the pulpit a lot, but Dr. Bruce Lipton wrote this book called Biology of Belief. And he says, we've now discovered that what we believe affects our DNA. We didn't believe that before. Whatever you truly believe in can actually affect your DNA. Mm-hmm. And we go, yeah, we knew that. Because Jesus said, you know what? Let it be to you according to your faith. The Bible says as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. The third one, scientists found a link between spirituality and your brain, and that you are possibly hardwired to believe in God. These are all news articles. I didn't go looking for them. They jumped off of newsfeed into my face. You're hardwired to believe in God's what they said. Well, yeah, back in the Garden of Eden, there was Adam and Eve, and they had a body, soul, and spirit. And when they lost that spiritual dimension, it was like a hole was left in their heart, and that hole can only be filled by God. So in a way, we are hardwired to believe in God. The fourth one, this is Alexandria Cortez. The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. Well, you know what, sweetheart? It's going to end anyway. Mm-hmm. And we're coming pretty close. Yep. That's what the Bible said. And then USA Today, New York Post, Popular Mechanics all said, this was just recent. All these are recent. I think all of these that I have seen appear are all within the last year. But Popular Mechanics and USA Today and New York Post said, archaeologists found a skeleton wearing an amulet that may change the history of Christianity. A skeleton in a 2,000-year-old grave in Frankfurt, Germany, was wearing it. Engraved on it were 18 lines. And it said, in part, they translated the lines, in the name of St. Titus, holy, holy, holy. In the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And then it goes on, salvation protects the human being who surrenders himself to the will of the Lord Jesus Christ, who is God's Son.
Wow. Since
all knees will bow before Jesus Christ and every tongue will confess.
Wow.
That's on this amulet. And they're going crazy, going, well, maybe this Christianity stuff is true. We knew it. And then the last one, you can comment any of these. This was just like a few days back. Again, Popular Mechanics. I don't know how much reliability you want to put and credibility in that, but Popular Mechanics, September 8th, 2025. Death may not be the end of consciousness, scientists now say. The implications are terrifying. And then they end the article, the discovery basically challenges everything we thought we knew about what it means to die. And I mean, it's just a few. And they're all biblical concepts. And the scientists are now going, hey, you know what we just discovered? No, you didn't. It's always been there. It's the truth of the Bible. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure these will keep appearing as the days get closer and closer to what we believe is return of Christ, which, by the way, we all missed the rapture on September 23rd, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
And that's another topic. But
It is.
what do you think about that? These headlines, these are just all pretty recent.
I think it's really cool right now that people are looking for a truth. Like they want to find a truth. It's kind of what Josh was talking about too, about confirmation bias. Like I feel like right now people are in a place where they need to find a truth. And I'm not saying like all these articles are like, they're all confirmation bias, but I think they've been told that Jesus wasn't a truth. And now there's all this stuff coming up where it's like, hey, like look at all these things that are pointing back to Christ. I think that's huge. And so, yeah, I love that.
Was this a Charlie Kirk assassination?
Yeah.
Is there something going on or what?
For sure.
Yeah. I think the world's seen Erica Kirk speak brilliantly and really speak the message of Jesus. She really did. I mean, it wasn't a traditional gospel message, but when she got up there and fought this pain and fought this desire to not do this, but she ended up saying that she forgave the shooter.
Yeah.
That was Christ on display. And I think that when there's a lot of people that I've seen online talking about that, saying, like, I don't know what that was, but that's that. Like, I want more of that.
You sent me an article of a person of a different faith.
Uh-huh.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And that person of different faith said, you know what? They were very, intellectual speaking person. And the person had written a letter or something. I don't know the form it came in. But she said, I watched that funeral and I was blown away. She said, in our religion, funerals are very sad.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like that. She said, that was more like a celebration. Mm-hmm. And then when she said that she forgave the young man who shot her husband, I was blown away. And you read that article and that lady's kind of like, I'm of another religion, but man, I'm thinking differently about you Christians.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, to say you forgive somebody is huge. But Erica Kirk and her background, she knows what that really means. Like, that's not just spewing the words. That's like the way you live your life from that moment on.
It's more powerful than finding an amulet, isn't it? Like,
absolutely.
You find the amulet and you're like, that, okay, there's some history there and that's great. But then hearing somebody that can forgive the shooter of their, like,
and that's something she's going to have to do every single day is consistently off.
I have never seen a funeral like that. It was like one big church service.
It was a revival. Yeah,
it was mostly a big church service.
Yeah.
There was some people used it as a political platform.
Until the end, it got kind of funky.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go there.
Look, it was beautiful because Christ was on display.
Yeah,
and
yes,
when
Erica walked off that stage, that was basically that should have been the end of the funeral.
Right. I think that was the perfect example. And you could see the difference between all the different speakers, different viewpoints, and different ways of doing it. But almost everyone talked about Jesus, if not everyone. And at the very least, I hope that brought a level of curiosity. That this isn't a religious practice for us as much as it is a true belief. Like, we really do believe. Like, I've been to, as working in a church as a pastor, we've performed a lot of funerals. And you can tell the difference between those who have a lot of faith in their families and those that don't. Not in a judging way, but I can tell like that there are people that just haven't fully grasped the idea that eternity is real.
Josh, is it safe for me to say, I think I can speak for all four of us up here, what Erica did, and I mean, I don't know about you guys, but Debbie and I were both crying. You couldn't get through that funeral not crying. You said John was crying.
Oh, my husband
Vince
was
said
bawling,
he's bringing out a towel to cry.
Go get a towel, yeah.
But is it safe to say
that was touching, man?
That I think all four of us up here in that same situation would have done the same thing.
I think
by that time we would have known that we're instructed as Christians to forgive the person who sinned against us.
And forgiveness doesn't mean you're not angry. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you're not affected. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you're letting that person off the hook. What it means is that you are acknowledging the fact that Christ, basically gave you a pass and gave you free life and forgiveness and all these things. And so you're saying that in my heart, I want that person to have the same because of who God is, not because of even who that person is.
Josh, I've defined forgiveness for years. I said, you know what? When someone's done you wrong and you say, I forgive you, it doesn't mean that what they did won't hurt you badly for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It might. But when you say, I forgive you, you are saying, I'm making a decision to let you go free.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dangle it over your head anymore.
And when you have somebody shackled like that in your mind, it affects you.
Oh,
You're the one
bitterness.
walking around with somebody shackled to you. You know, there's so many people that vengeance it rules them.
Yeah.
It rules their life. It takes them. It takes it pretty much imprisons them. And so you're letting yourself off the hook too. You know, when you forgive somebody else.
Well, that's why we don't really need to hear an "I'm sorry," right? We can choose to forgive without somebody even being apologetic, because it's not about them. It's truly about us and what's inside.
Well, that's the power of the message of the cross, right? Like there wasn't like Jesus didn't just forgive and then we had to do a bunch of stuff to make ourselves right. He forgave and we literally could pick up from where we were at and move forward. And I think when you're able to forgive, you're letting that person pick up from where they're at and move forward for what God has for them. Otherwise, they can't move forward. You can't move forward and they can't move forward.
Let's go back to Erica again, though. Let's give her credit where credit belongs. I think all of us would do it, but I'm not so sure I would have had the strength to do it at that point.
Right, yeah.
I mean, not much time had passed.
She knew the power it would
And
bring,
that was pretty,
you know?
pretty cool. It might have taken us some weeks and months to get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, or let alone be on a mic and be able to address a nation like that.
Right.
I mean, that's just...
A lot of people from the outside, and they don't understand the Christian faith, they might see that as weak. You know, they might see that as passive. But it's not that. As Christians, we're called to be strong. We're called to fight. We're called to stand our ground, but we do it in a different way. We don't do it by eye for an eye, right? That's the Old Testament way, but Jesus came and he said, it's not eye for an eye. He said, instead of love your enemies, that's what he's called us to do. But that takes a fight to do that. And you do that, like if somebody wrongs us, then we forgive them, but then we work really hard to help the people around us and to work on our communities and work on ourselves and work on our families, build up families so that we can actually fight the evil behind those actions, not just the person who happened to be the chosen vessel of the enemy that day, you know?
Yeah, it was a very, very sad occasion. And again, I've been around more years than you guys, but I have never quite seen anything like this. And I think God is using it to say something to all of us. We need one another. We need to reframe our life that, again, we're here on a mission. And when that mission's over, we're all going to heaven. That's where we're going. And you know that favorite illustration I've used the last year or two? When you give your life to God, it's like you get on a plane that has heaven bound, and then the plane stops in wherever city you live in, L.A., Nevada, Texas, Houston, Las Vegas, and that's our layover, and we have to do whatever work he has assigned for us there, and then we get back on our plane to go to heaven. Charlie Kirk he's finished his race. And again, boy, how do you even word this? Unless a seed falls in the ground, it stays alone. But he died a martyr's death. And I do believe God in his infinite wisdom, love, and power is already turning this thing into something really kind of crazy good. And he does say it in the Bible that I will cause, through the Apostle Paul, I will cause all these to work together good. It's like the devil acted and he woke up a sleeping giant.
Yeah. One of the things that Erica Kirk said that stuck out to me was that Charlie Kirk would always speak Isaiah 6, "Here I am, Lord, send me." But she would warn him and say, when you pray that prayer, God will take you up on it. Yeah. And then what she said was God took him up on it. Yeah. And God did use his death to bring a lot of people.
Oh, my goodness.
And the thing is, though, as Christians, that is our calling. You know, our calling is to live our whole lives and surrender everything to him. And whatever happens to us happens because we believe in eternity. Like, we really do. We truly
Wasn't
truly
it Tucker
believe
Carlson up there who was preaching?
Yeah.
I thought, wow. And
Tucker
he said
Carlson.
something like, the devil thought he got us. He thought he shut us up. Thought he shut us up when he killed Charlie Kirk. He went, He said, that wasn't going to work.
Oh, he's talking about Jesus. Yeah, he's talking about Jesus, and he's saying, like, they thought they could shut him up.
Oh, that's about Jesus. It wasn't Charlie Kirk.
No,
that's
but
but we applied it to Charlie Kirk.
He was making the point that because you go down the list. People may not always think about this, but it's fairly common knowledge. But if you look at the list of all the apostles, they all got brutally murdered.
Except John.
Except for John.
Yeah.
Except for John, who maybe lost his mind a little bit, but he wrote some crazy stuff at the end there, But yeah, they all of them just brutally murdered.
Mm-hmm.
But yet they stood up in the face. Like James, you read the book of James. You know how James was killed? He was in charge of, this is the brother of Jesus.
Right.
Who wrote the book of James. He was in charge of the church in Jerusalem. Like he was in charge of which is where the heat was, man. Like that was like the place. That's where Jesus had been killed. Mm-hmm. And the Christians they didn't stop at Jesus. They were still persecuting, right? He was killed by being pushed off the top of the temple. And then that didn't kill him, so they beat him with clubs. So like that's how he was killed. But then at the same time, he's preaching about what we say.
Yeah,
Be
but the
careful
proof
about
of the
what you say.
resurrection was so much. You look at James, the brother of Jesus, and at one time his brothers made fun of him.
Yeah.
But that resurrection was so bulletproof. It was so convincing that, they've said it before, that if you want to see what somebody's really like, look at their family, the people that live close to them and are in the same quarters, and see them in their ups and their downs. And they're going to be the reflection upon if that's a godly person or not. And so,
can I read this part of James real quick?
Sure.
So in James, the man who was killed, right, one of many, said this in James 3, "We all stumble in many ways, but if anyone does not stumble in what he says, he's a perfect man, able to bridle his whole body. If we put bits in the mouths of horses so they obey us, we guide their whole bodies as well. Look at the ships also. They're large and driven by strong winds, and they're guided by a very small rudder." And he goes on to basically talk about the tongue. The tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things. How great a forest is set ablaze by such a small fire. So we have to be careful about what we say as Christians, because we can ignite a fire in the wrong direction, but you can also ignite a holy fire by saying the right things, right? And so we need to be people that really do, and I'm preaching to myself. I'm looking in the mirror the most right now, because I tend to say things before I think them through, and it's a problem, and I'm really working on it. But as I grow in Christ, I want to continue going down that path of just really thinking, what are the words today that I can speak to encourage people? What are the words that I can speak to just put a fire in them? And sometimes you think, okay, well, I don't know the right words. You've learned all this stuff, and I don't know the right words. You don't even need to know the right words. If you text somebody and say, hey, thinking about you, praying about you, hope you're doing well. Who does that? Like, not many people think to do that.
Right.
I know when I get text messages that are encouraging like that,
right.
And I probably get more than many because I'm speaking and stuff, but like, it really touches my heart, and I don't even get them very often, But think of somebody, pray. And the other day I was like, God put it on my heart strongly. I need to call this friend of mine, old friend of mine, and I haven't talked to him a lot. And you have lunch with him. Invite him to lunch. So I invited him to lunch. We had lunch 2 days later, and he was like, "Man, you don't even know how much I needed this." And it wasn't anything. We just sat and talked. And
love has to be the foundation of the church. It has to remain.
Let people know you're thinking about them.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You got to do life together, and I think that's one thing that I'm real excited about. What we're doing at our one campus, our big campus, is we're putting in pickleball courts, a wiffle ball field. We're putting in. We already have basketball. Gymnasium, all this stuff, and we're really pushing doing life together, and that's where the love is demonstrated when we do life together.
Yeah,
we get into each other's lives while we're sitting watching our children in a wiffle ball league. That's when we get into casual conversations and we let our guard down.
Yeah,
and that's where we pray for one another. And
so that's another thing too.
On.
Another thing too is we're so afraid of rejection. We're so afraid of, like, how many times have you, if God put somebody on your heart and you think to yourself, you start going through the mental thing, well, they're busy. They don't have time. Or I don't even know if they like me. They gave me a funny look the other day.
Yeah.
How many messages I send out and get no response? Probably quite a bit. And you know what? People are busy. I get it. No big deal. But it doesn't bother me because I know I did what I was supposed to do.
And they write you 3 months later going, hey, I forgot, man. I didn't even see this or something. Yeah. But Josh, again, you know what? I was going to say something. Nikki, you talk. I was going to say something. You touched a nerve there, and I forgot what I was going to say.
I was going to go back to like doing it face to face, like the pickleball, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We kind of miss the contact of meeting people and actually speaking life into them face to face. And we wait to do it via text, and that's still great if we don't have the avenue. But man, if you have the opportunity to walk up to somebody and actually speak to them, that just.
But Nikki, we've got used to, a lot of us have, going to a church, sitting, listening, and leaving.
Yeah.
And the real life happens when we start doing life together. I know I was going to say to you, Josh, in the Bible, Paul said that's speculation.
What is?
That thing of
assuming that people are thinking.
Assuming anything like that.
Right.
And said that's one of the tools of the devil.
That's right.
That he uses speculation. And speculation is basically, I think this is happening right now. And if that's happening, then this is probably going on. If that's going on, I'm not really happy about that.
You might have just hit on something we need to talk about, but you might have just hit on one of the biggest issues of our time.
Yeah, speculation.
Like literally, we're going around assuming that people are after us, assuming that because we're fed these messages from the mainstream media and from our culture. So if there's anybody that needs to be held accountable, really be held accountable, it's the media. I think they should be held accountable for what they say because of the effects. Like the news should be the news, right? So that frustrates me a little bit. I don't mind if at least let us know, hey, this part's opinion, but this is the fact. Here's the fact. Here's the opinion.
What the problem, though, is we want what's easy, and it's really easy to get onto social media. It's really easy to text something and not think it through. And what Nicole just said about being able to be face with face to people, it's harder. It's harder to have a conversation about truth and be able to say, hey, this is what I think. But whatever we
It's also harder to be critical to their face, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying, though. But we've lost that touch of back, I'm sure, Pastor, when there was a disagreement, they'd go to the town hall meeting and everybody would hash it out in the town hall and then they would move forward, right?
Right.
And so now we don't do that anymore. We don't hash it out. We write on social media our beliefs, and then we assume
we can't even agree to disagree.
That's what I'm saying. We move forward.
Well, we're so afraid of being proven wrong too. Like, how many times have you, somebody said something and it was different than what you were thinking?
Yeah,
and
sure,
you changed your mindset because
I want to be wrong more than I want to go to a place
where
that's
not the norm.
I know, but I want to grow. So it's like if I'm wrong on something, I want to correct it so that I can move forward and be right. And I know for me, I have a strong personality. I know I know all of us probably have a really strong personality. I think I'm right to a point where I'm wrong, and I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong. But I think that we have to be open to being wrong.
Well, even back in the day when I grew up, higher education was based around debates. We'd come in and they'd tell their side, they'd tell their side. We could argue them and each give our opinions and then leave.
Maybe that's
not
the
unhappy
issue
with one another.
Maybe that's the issue, though, Vince, is this right or wrong thinking. This idea of I'm either 100% right or I'm 100% wrong, and I don't want to be on the other side.
Right.
Instead, why don't we think in terms of fine tuning? Because I know that there's things that I have.
A better way.
Yeah, there's an issue that I look at, and I know I could probably see it 60, 70, 80% correct, but there's 20% that I'm probably not seeing, and that needs to be fine tuned.
I was doing something on my computer the other day, and I'm pretty good with the computer. But my kid goes over and he's like, "Why are you doing it like that?" And I'm like, who are you telling? Why am I doing it? I'm the guy. I'm like, what are you telling? And he goes, no, there's an
I'm the guy.
He's like, there's an easier way. And he goes, da, 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 da. And I'm like, wait, do that again? I'm like, oh, you're right.
That's just the beginning of it.
I know, but what I'm saying is we have to be willing to go oh, I still have something to learn.
Yes,
and I'm not 100% set in stone. I think when you set your feet in stone, you're sinking yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people they don't realize that right now they're sinking themselves.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, but get ready, Vince. Brace yourself. As you grow up, especially if you have a young man in the house, as I did, there's going to come a time where they can lift heavier weight than you.
Yeah.
A time where they can finally beat you in racquetball.
Yeah.
It's all coming. Times they're going to correct you on how you're doing things.
Yeah, I don't know about racquetball. I think you always had a voodoo going on there. You're being
racquetball.
You can never figure that out. But
well, you know what? Going back to Charlie Kirk too, I wrote something down I want to say. See, we're putting a lot of emphasis on doing life together, which I think is really smart. Again, you're in the gymnasium at a basketball game. Somebody falls and sprains their ankle real bad. You're the only one there with 3 other people because it was maybe way before the game or after the game. Somebody's got to pray for him, and you never pray for people. Now you got to pray for him right now. Yeah. Pray for the pain he's in. Pray for wisdom and what to do. It's going to put pressure on people. But I think this doing life together is just essential.
Huge.
Going back to love, what you said as our banner is essential, but learning the Bible too. We do this Bible study, and if you are local, we do a Bible study at 6 a.m. at our Northwest campus, and we have, 80 to 100 people come religiously at 6 a.m.
On a Monday morning. That's
Yes.
it's hardcore.
But see, we've got to teach people the Bible. In relationship to Charlie Kirk and what's been going on, I wrote this down. Christianity is not the removal of suffering, but the additional grace to endure the suffering triumphantly. That's what it is. Because sometimes, God can't take all the painful situations away, but he changes us and molds us, gives us hope. He's there for us. And so a lot of Christians out there think that when they give their life to the Lord, that they're not supposed to suffer a lot anymore. He's supposed to be hunky-dory. Not true. He's promised to come along and go through it with us and shape us and mold us and even bring something good out of it.
Yeah. Well, what you're talking about is the fork in the road, and there's the hard way and there's the easy way. And the lie is that the easy way is always going to be the easiest. But truthfully, the easy way is only easy at the beginning, and then it makes your life harder in the long run. But the hard way is a little bit harder at first, but it makes your life so much easier in the end and so much better in the end. And I think that when you live your life according to what God calls us to do, and it's simple, right? Spend time in prayer, spend time in the Word, and then fellowship is what you're talking about. When you live life with people, it's fellowship, and there's a purpose behind it.
Two fellows in one ship.
That's right, yeah. It's relationship for a reason. And we're not trying to, you think that we're all going to try to preach to you or try to change you. No, we all understand you're on a journey. We're here to support you.
I had some neighbors come over to my house several years ago. I lived in this really nice home across the way. And they came over. We lived there some time, and we really hadn't visited with them. Anyway, long story short, they stayed about an hour. And he wrote me sometime later and said, I can't believe you didn't preach to us one time.
Yeah.
You didn't push Christ down our throat. You didn't try to force us to come to your church. You just loved us.
You didn't throw holy water on
No.
at the door.
Yeah. So for those of you guys that are out there that you're learning more about Jesus, maybe you've given your life to him recently or you're thinking of it, and if you do, I think one of the best books that you could read, honestly, it's an old one, is Purpose Driven Life
By Rick Warren.
So good. It was originally Doug Fields who came up with the idea, and then Rick Warren made it very popular with the best-selling book. But to just reiterate what it means is there's 5 parts of your journey with God. And it's the Word, it's prayer, it's worship, it's fellowship, and it's service. And those 5 things, if you can focus on creating a life around those 5 things, your life is
and do them all in love.
Yeah, it's going to be so much better in the end. What's cool about watching not to bring it back to the Charlie Kirk funeral again, but the memorial, but just to see the legacy that a 31-year-old man left. That's unreal.
Yeah.
And it's because he devoted himself to those things,
And to see the revival coming out of it. I think that's the big thing. We took our 6th grade son as we were watching it, and I said, the world is going to try and tell you you're all alone.
Yeah.
Like we all are, they isolate, and you just need to know, like, in your faith, you're never alone.
Yeah.
That's a big piece.
Or
I
you're
think
doing
that's
it
more,
wrong, or you're not going the right way. One of the things I was inspired by, wherever you fall in the Charlie Kirk thing, but I was just thinking parable of talents. Like he did something with his talent. He did something, and I'm like, I was so inspired just by that. It's like he literally said, you know what? Instead of he didn't worry about whether he's doing it right or wrong, and you can go into a rabbit hole with that. But he did something with what God gave him. And it's like, what are we doing? You challenged our Northwest campus pastor. What are we doing? It's like, what can we do? And I think that's huge. And I think if you take any inspiration, like you said, what has he done to 31 years old?
And before he passed, I was critical of some of his ways and some of the way he did things and some of the things he said. I was. But that's our mindset, right? And but after he passed, I started thinking I'm just a critical person by nature, and I need to check myself in all that, and I need to look at the good in what is happening in people's lives.
What he's trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think I need to say this. I am in contact with a lot of pastors, and I've had almost 4 different pastors from different churches pretty much say the same thing. One pastor I'm very close to lost 5 families in his church, at least 5 he knows of, because he mentioned Charlie Kirk in the pulpit. And these other pastors said to me, said, you know what? We're in a real tight situation. There are people in our church saying, if you don't mention Charlie Kirk, we're leaving. And if you do mention him, we're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say this, I heard a couple things, and I should have probably said it with more love than I did. But an old man of God illustrates what I want to say. When he told the story, ages ago, he said he was standing at the back door one day greeting people after a sermon, and this lady came out and said, well, you know what? I have some things I'm not happy about, and I think I have the chance to vent them right now. She said, I don't like the way we're doing this and this and this and this, and I just want to voice that to you. He said, ma'am, look at me in the eyes. I like the way we're doing it better than the way you're not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said something, and I won't say it in the same manner I said it on Sunday because it would really offend some of you. I'll lighten the way I said it, but I said, you know what? Some of you are knocking Charlie Kirk, and you're not doing crapola in the kingdom. Mm. I mean, you're not sharing your faith. You're not giving. You're not serving. You're not evangelizing, and you have the audacity to criticize someone that's actually doing quite a bit. And I did say, I'll say anyway, but some of you are just sitting on your butt and doing nothing but criticizing. And I say that with love, I hope, but I have a hard time taking criticism from people that are doing nothing about someone that at least, and there were things that I didn't agree with neither, Josh. I didn't. Some of the things Charlie said, and sometimes I thought he was too hard, on and on. But man, for the foundational truths like saving unborn babies and standing up for the Bible, standing up for marriage, that was rock solid.
Well, what was a tragedy and is a tragedy for the family, for the people close to him, God did use it for good. And part of the good is that he convicted me about a lot of the things that I am doing wrong, a lot of the things that I am looking at in a way that I shouldn't look at. And so hopefully we can all kind of take, from the events like that and other events that are going on in the world, because there's a lot of things going on in the world right now. Yeah. I mean, all the Christians that are being persecuted in the Middle East right now, it's terrible. In China, different places, there's a lot going on, and people, and everyone's God's children. Everyone who dies a death that is not of old age and a good life, that's a sad thing. That's a very sad tragedy. But God uses those tragedies in our lives to bring us closer to him.
Yeah, yes. He does. And we're seeing him speak loud and clear through this whole thing. And we don't like to keep a subject going. We know it happened several weeks ago, but it's such a loud voice that's shouting right now. I think we might be talking about this for some time. And I hope I said that in love, but even in the Bible, I mean, Jesus wasn't bashful. Some of you have a 2x4 in your own eye and you're trying to get a splinter out of somebody else's. And I think I can frame that within the context of that truth.
Yeah, I always wonder if that was like a funny thing to some people around him when he said that. Like, was Jesus being funny?
Well, Nikki, you're learning to work with us. We talk over one another, and I think Vince has been very gracious. Me and Josh get going here with Tag, and Vince says some really good things, but we don't mean to drown you out.
You want to say anything? For the ride. I think we're here.
You want to say anything?
No, I think I was just gonna say with what Josh was talking about, like suffering is never pointless either. Like God uses that suffering, and that's the thing. Like it's a horrible thing what our world's gone through, and we've got more things that will come. But God is still so big, and none of it catches him off guard.
No, not at all. He doesn't say, "Oh wow, look what happened." You know, I mean, we might die tomorrow. I could be shot. You guys could be, shot, or you could die in a car wreck, or you could be a martyr too. I mean, we don't
There are no
know.
guarantees.
No guarantees.
As far as physical safety.
But we're willing to do what Charlie did.
But there is a guarantee as far as eternal life, and that should give us a fearless attitude to love more.
It should give us a fearless attitude. In fact, Jesus even said, "We can't die. We will never die. We might leave our body, but the body will go to sleep or die, but we ourselves will never die.
Death has lost its sting.
We're immortal. We're immortal." And so, anyway, Nicole, you'll learn as you go.
I will.
And, don't be afraid to say, "Hey, I don't agree with that." That'd be fine. Me and Josh have done it plenty of times, and So we're glad to be back, as you can see, and every week, same time, same place, we're going to be here. So love you guys, and probably missed you more than you missed us, but we're glad to be back.
Iron sharpens iron, right?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Love you.
You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel alright. The kind you wanna stay up with all night. You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel whole. They won't leave your side when you lose control.